Hello guys, in this video we will be learning about use case scenarios for AWS S3. So what are the use case scenarios and how would we be able to work with it? Now consider something that you have some files that you would want to store. Suppose you just want to keep those files. Question comes up, what kind of files? Any kind of file, say media files or say backup files or say documents. You just want to store them somewhere which is secure, a very secure place where you don't have to worry about the files where are they being kept. So here what happens, you keep them somewhere, but what happens, you keep them in your server, the storage space runs out, and it is not a say rare scenario. It is one of the most common scenarios, one of the most common problems that many of the companies face. What happens is that you have the data which is continuously growing. I'm not talking about database, I'm not talking about the website, I'm talking about that static content that you're generating every day and that needs to be stored somewhere. You may be a company who is creating videos. Like say there are many companies, those whose work is only to make videos. They have lots and lots of files. Where do they store? Now they have two options of storing those files, either on their own local systems and have a risk of losing the files. Now how they are at risk of losing these files? A very one simple thing. The risk is that what if the server fails? You don't have any RAID configuration, and in case if you opt for RAID configuration, then it adds up a lot extra cost. So here say risk of losing or say corruption. This is one of the most common problems that any company faces. Now here, what will you do in such a case? Now I am aware that I have a lot of files. I am aware that some of those files need to be accessed frequently. So what we can do? We can say divide these files into two parts. Say frequently access, and second one is say rare access. Now why rare access? Frequent access are the files which are say generally used on your website, for example embedded videos. These are the most common things that you use: embedded videos, embedded audio, and images, and say some other stuff as well. Rare access, say the backup files. Suppose you have a server, and what happens, you are creating backups. Suppose you created a backup today and after 6 months your server crashes. You have to restore the backup. In that case, where will you go? If you keep the same backup in the same server, then it is a problem for you. Why? Because you may lose access to that data as well, to that backup as well. Here in S3 you can store this file and you can get the access to that file very easily. Next thing, say what is the reliability factor of keeping the files here? What is the surety that my files won't be getting corrupted? So here Amazon guarantees one thing, that is 99.999% availability. This means that they are guaranteeing that in a very rare scenario your file may get corrupted, but that rare scenario is something like this. How many nines are there? These are 11 nines. This means that on a scale of say in 1000 say files, sorry, not 1000, let us just count how many files. thousand, lakhs, then crores, kharab. So you can say that in 1 billion files there is only rare chance that one of the files get corrupted. Only one file between those 100 billion files. So here you need not to worry, and here you can keep these files. Now what are the scenarios? Say in what case we can say we can store the files. So there are three scenarios basically. First one is using this as a location to dump files, for keeping files for years. Suppose you are just generating new files but you want a location to store data. Here you can use S3 to store that data. Second is using this as a location to quickly serve static files. For example, I told you about embedding the videos or embedding the audio in a website so that you can serve the content whenever it is required, but it is not stored on your server, it is stored in a location from where you can serve it. Third thing is using this as a place to store backups regularly. You just want to store backups, you don't want to access them. Say after 10 years you may want to have access to the file. Yes, you can have access to that file. So you're just paying for the say storage, and it is as low as $1 per TB. So in case if you have lots and lots of files, still you can keep the files for as low as $1 per TB, and that is very cheap actually. Next thing is, say, can we host a website on this? This is a biggest myth that people have in mind, that they can host websites using S3. No, S3 is not used to host websites. It is used to host content, the static content. For example, videos which won't be changed until or unless we change the content and store it again. So only and only HTML pages. So indirectly I would say that it is not used for hosting websites, because HTML is not considered as a proper website because it is a static content. You cannot host web applications here. And next thing, you can store any kind of files you can have on your system. It is just that these are stored on the network and these are replicated across multiple availability zones within the same region where you are creating this, say, bucket, or say the data you are storing. So this is what this S3 is about, and this was for this video. In case if you have any queries, you can feel free to ask them in the comment section below. Thank you.